apparently the game is so powerful. It just knocked my computer out for a bit. Put this over here. I know, right? How dare you, Vid? Anywho, where was I? Oh, gosh, that was a scramble to get back to this. But thank you for your patience. I appreciate it a lot. Did I get rated? Or am I just looking at things wrong? Anywho, hello. Vid's game is far too powerful. That's a fact. Make sure everything looks good on this end. Oh my god, my words got shifted again. 1 second while I fix that. Just gonna scoot that over some. Is that better? Oh, there we go. That's better. Perfect. Ah, okay, cool. Cross my fingers. That's the only one. Last time was a lot worse, so hopefully... Yeah. I forgot where I left off. Oh, here we go. Playing with the book. It's a game without game master. A lot of narrative is up to everyone at the table. And to help with this core book will come with a multitude of options and tables to define and build ideas off of. Many aspects of the world building and character creation have been chosen for you, but this world is still yours. The content of this book takes 46 hours to play through. You can take everything from this book and continue to play sessions afterwards with no worries. What you need is a handful of D6 and D8 index cards. Oh, D8s. Index cards, different colors or colored markers help. Deck of cards, take out the jokers, print out the player sheets, ship sheet, setting sheet, and dice pool building reference. And optional, print out any tables you want for quick reference. Getting started. First thing... Oop. Can y'all read that? That looks like it's pretty legible. Let me just zoom in a bit more. Boop. There we go. Alright, first thing that is important to any game is to have conversations with everyone about what you want and what you don't want to experience, especially in such a free-form narrative like role-playing games. Space Between Stars deals with the characters' backgrounds and past, and sometimes they may cross into dark, troubling subjects. Have an open conversation before you play, and make sure everyone is on the same page as the experience, as the experience they want. Look, I'm going to stumble over words, so you're going to hear me just stumble words. So it may be just me a me thing, and not you need the editing, because it's going to be a me thing. Starting the game. The best way to do this for everyone is to define concepts known as lines and veils. Yes, safety tools. Lines and veils are lines are topics that you do not want to come up and play at all, not even mentioned or hinted at. Veils are topics that you do not address directly, however, act out or participate in, but are welcome to exist in the world or narrative in passing or referenced at. A common line could be rape and child abuse, while a common veil could have sex and torture. These are specific to the individual and as a group must be respected, and someone brings up either. Write down these lines and veils on the index card so everyone can see. At any point, someone can add a line or a veil during or between play sessions. Next, you want to define the tone of the setting. This is a good idea what everyone wants in their narrative. Go around the table and name a piece of media, book, TV show, movie, and aspect of what you wish to play during your game, such as Cowboy Bebop, fast-paced action, or Star Trek intergalactic politics. Space Between Stars is designed around a science fiction space opera around the adventures of a crew of a spaceship, but that leaves a lot of space for different narratives. Don't be afraid to mention non-science fiction references, it just makes it more interesting. World building. Now they're in the process of building the universe and will all play in. You need the setting sheet for this page. This is done by drawing the top card of the deck and comparing it to the following tables in order, and recording their answers on the corresponding sections of the setting sheet. World state table. This table will generate 2 major groups and 1 major event that will shape your universe. The galactic superpower represents the universe's major controlling force, much like the Empire or Jedi Council. The rebellion represents the opposing force to the galactic superpower. The war describes the state or the struggle of their struggles against each other. Direction. One player starts by drawing and comparing the top card to the section of the table, starting with galactic superpower. Feel free to discuss among everyone at the table, but the player who drew the card has final say. Further define what you drew by renaming it, establishing any specific details, or asking the group to help. They will write this in the groups. At the player is satisfied, the player to the left draws rebellion, rating in groups. Then the next player draws the war, writing it in events. Once they're all defined, move on to the next page. Alright, and here is the list. The galactic superpower is called Hearts, Magistrate, which is an authoritarian council. Spades, Ascendancy, a religious enforcement. Diamonds, I was going to say stars, that could be a star, but it's not in this thing. The Consortium, a corporate control, and Hearts, Spades, Diamonds, close? Wait, no. Oh, shoot. What is it called? Clubs, thank you. I was so close. I haven't played cards in so long. Imperium, a militaristic dictatorship. Rebellion is currently blank. Is a spear, the hard spear, open rebellion. Oh, okay, thank you. Spades is the dagger with a secret rebellion. The diamond is the shards broken and scattered, and the clubs is the shield fortified in the outer reach. The war current state is blank. Heart ended in total domination by the galactic superpower. Spades has been pushed to the fringes of space, outside of the masses' view. Diamonds is an ongoing struggle for both sides. And clubs has ended in a catastrophic event. No one is happy. Starting the game, setting details. The game will generate questions that, when answers, flesh out your universe. Not all these questions will be answered. Answering only a few will bring out interesting aspects of your universe that can be jumping off points to further build out during play. Directions. One player starts by drawing and comparing the top card and answer the questions presented in 1 to 2 sentences. Feel free to discuss among the players at everyone at the table, but the player who drew a card has final say. Continue the process until everyone has answered at least 2 questions. Try to spend no more than 3 to 5 minutes on each question. Write your answer in about 1 to 2 sentences and corresponding boxes under setting details. If you already answered the question, either draw a new card or discuss the answer further. Space wells. Oh, look! Clarification! You might have noticed that some of the questions you have to answer are about defining aspects of space wells that exist in your setting. You might be wondering if you have to have them in your game. Yes, you do. Have fun with them, get weird with them, and integrate them into your setting as much as little as possible. Some games may have them be rare mythical creatures that may never show up. Others might have them as the central part of the narrative and a crucial aspect of how society even functions. Even a hard science space opera, it's fun to try and figure out how the space wells fit in. I love how, this quirky little creature is forced into the narrative, no matter where it is. That's fantastic. That's so good. Oh, God, that's fantastic. Okay. Setting details. Odds for hearts is how prevalent are aliens in a universe? Are they abstract or humanoid? Spades, are aliens a part of the galactic superpower? Is there a council of species out there? Diamonds, has there been a communication with aliens? Can we understand each other? Clubs, what relics of the alien civilizations do we have available to us? Evens, for space. Heart, is there Earth in this universe? Are we confined to one star system or the other, or the whole galaxy? How long does the information take for reach people through space? What hazards does space have that we discovered? How much of space have we mapped out? What is the farthest we've gone? Face, whales, and fish. Hearts, what are the nature of the space whales in relation to civilization? Spades, how are the natural oils and materials extracted from the whales or fish? Oh no, the poor whales! Don't you dare hunt them down. They are precious. Diamonds, what do they look like? How much do they resemble aquatic life on Earth? Clubs, are they worshipped? Are they hunted? Are they scavenged and harvested? No, they're precious babies. They must be worshipped. This is my narrative now for space whales. Must protect. Alright, starting the game. Ship. The ship acts as both as another crew member and as a home for the characters. The ship is outfitted with accommodations and systems, which are defined on the sheet itself. In the full game, you will spend this time to build your ship from scratch. To get to playing as soon as possible, your ship is outfitted to transport cargo. You may have 2 credit worth of customizations on your ship. Adding anything to your ship costs 1 credit. Adding a positive adjective gives it a +1 quality, but costs a +1 credit. Giving a negative adjective subtracts -1 credit, minimum 1. Decide what to add to your ship to make it your own now or after character creation, and where you would install them based on the descriptions of the different accommodations or systems. Characters. Pick a pre-generated character that speaks to you and further definition that define the sections that are half filled in. Answer any questions that are written in a lighter font right above them. It is encouraged to talk about what you are thinking for your character to the group, and this helps bridge the gaps and even connect characters together through shared events. Each character has a background. Normally this would determine the amount of elements each aspect has, but these pre-gens... I got distracted because Dessa asked a very important question. It is a very important question. Can the ships be a space whale? Ooh, some tables did that. Oh. Yes, perfect. We're gonna leave off. I got distracted by the very important question. But these pre-gens are given their primary aspect of 1 extra element. Below are a quick description of each background and the playstyle that they specialize in case you want more information while picking. The crew are primarily designed to be couriers, and the ship is outfitted accordingly. You may be used to have been couriers, or your ship is just a front, etc. However, feel free to spin it as you like. Strong build. A strong-willed character has a strong idea of what they believe in and have experiences under the belt that guide the actions to do what's best, be their best self, and in turn be able to shrug off the harshness of life. Play a strong-willed character if you wish to seriously think about how your character would be acting in these situations. Playing towards your loyalties will grant dice to a dice pool, while playing against a loyalty will cause you grief and have you doubt yourself. While gaining grief and can be worrisome, it is also allows you to grow faster as you establish your loyalties. A wandering spirit is someone who is transient in nature. They aren't usually locked down. They have learned to keep their valuables on them and trust what they carry. Play a wandering spirit if you wish to make any situation easier by having the foresight to use items and upgrade dice, while in turn making situations slightly more difficult to your crew in order to maintain that foresight. Painful past. A painful past character has suffered. They are tormented by the way what they were, what they are, or what they could be. Play a painful past character to gain your character's chances of succeeding tasks and additional more dice to the difficulty pool. If you do succeed, you'll get back. Oh, the dice you gambled and can be used when... I lost... It's training my thought. The dice you gambled can be used when you need to turn the tide of the harder conflicts. Experienced veteran. An experienced veteran is someone who has held many jobs, acquired several skills, has had to improvise, and learn to get by. Play an experienced veteran if you wish to build larger dice pools dictated by your character's varied array of abilities and easily pushing your abilities to greater heights. Grief. Oh wait, did I skip anything? No, okay, cool, it didn't. What's on your character sheet? Grief. Grief is shown at the top of the character sheet. Players gain grief by feeling dice rolls. If you take grief when you're already at your max, something horrible happens to you. Either gain a new hindrance or your character is retired. Loyalties. Loyalties act as your character's guidelines, their creed, or their mortality. All loyalties are written as I will statements. I will always draw my weapon at the first sign of danger, or I will smile at strangers. When building a dice pool, if your character is playing towards one of their loyalties, add 1d6 to your player pool. If you are acting in opposition to any of your loyalties, that loyalty becomes locked. Fill in the square. You gain 1 grief. A locked loyalty cannot be used in any way, even acting in opposition, until it is refreshed by either acting in line with it but gaining no benefit, or raising the stakes on another player's turn. Abilities. Abilities are your character skills as they're accumulated and honed through the years, either through past jobs or life lessons. And as you go through being a member of your crew, your skill be honed further. Each ability is further defined by you to specify how your character is specifically utilizing it, or what past experience they're drawing from when using it. When building a dice pool, add the dice that have been filled in next to the ability. All starting abilities start with 1d6, and fully progressed ability brings it in a 3d6 or 1d8. Woo! Getting some 1d8 actions here. I love that. Items. Items help your characters in situations where a tool is needed or could aid a situation, showing you are prepared for the situation at hand. Each player has limited amount of foresight to use on items, representing your character's abilities to prepare for complications on the fly. When building a dice pool, your characters may spend foresight equal to the amount of items that you have decided are helping the situation. You cannot use an item if you do not have any foresight to spend. When you use an item, you upgrade a number of d6s in the player pool equal to the quality of the item. Upgrading a 1d6 turns into a 1d8. If there are no more d6s to upgrade, but you spend the foresight, add 1d6 instead. You may refresh one foresight by raising the stakes on another player's turn. Hindrances. Hindrances are what set your character back. They represent moments where your character faces their fears, challenging themselves, and possibly overcoming their shadows. All hindrances have written as I have statements. Examples: I have been betrayed by my closest friend. I have a gambling addiction. I have been the sole survivor of a pirate raid. When building a dice pool, you may add up to 4 8-sided dice in the difficulty pool. If you succeed at the task, your character gains many dice added to be used later as a spendable resource. Crew. As you go through life as a part of your crew, you may call upon your fellow crew members for aid, building up your relationship with positive and negative experiences. When you bring in a crew member, you add 8-sided dice equal to each fully filled diamond, represented in 2 triangle splits into third. Split into thirds. It's probably, there's an image probably further down. I'll look at that. Whenever you succeed at the task together, each person in the dice pool fills in 1/3 of a top triangle. When you fail, you each fill in 1/3 of your bottom triangle. Once both triangles are filled, your bond is stronger, and another 8-sided dice are added to the pool. Bonus dice. Bonus dice are gained from spending downtime on your ship or by raising the stakes during another player's turn when they're building a dice pool. Raising the stakes is defined on the dice pool building checklist. Current state of the crew. Bring out the setting sheet. You draw the cards to find out who your major contact is, add to the characters, how your last job went, add to events, and where you currently are, add to locations. This is done the same way as when you're defining the galactic superpower, rebellion, and war. Can PCs be space whales in a space whale ship? I don't see why not. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. Major contact. Heart is Maze. Black market contact. Spades is Walton. Port authority worker. Diamond is Lenny at Galactic Security. And clubs is Steria, who is an entertainer. Last job went Hearts poorly, lost out on a lot of money. Spades strategically, everyone played their part well. Diamond loudly, lots of fighting. And clubs strangely, something unexpected happened. Currently at Heart, Delta Arc is the space station. Spades, Horizon's planetary colony. Diamond is Wayward Space pit stop. And clubs is the Blue Room nightclub. Where am I? Here we go. Relationships and reputations. The last thing you will do before starting your narrative is kickstarting your relationships together for other crew members. One player will start and draw a card from the top of the deck and describe an experience your character had with the one to the left based on the color drawn. On a red, you'll fill in one of the top third of the relationship die and describe a positive experience you two share. On a black, you'll fill one of the bottom third of the relationship die and describe a negative experience you two shared. It's worth noting that you have negative experiences does not mean that you hate either. It can be that you did experience events that didn't end favorably. After everyone has drawn a card, the last player begins the process again in the opposite direction. Once everyone has drawn a second card, you're done. You should have 2 notches filled for each character to your left and right. On the settings sheet, you will see career presentation on the bottom. This is a visual gauge of where the crew stands in terms of the major factions they will be interacting with. Fill in the galactic superpower and the rebellion were labeled and decide as a group whether to fill in a top or bottom triangle on the neutral stage. This informs how these factions tend to view you, top being positively and bottom being negatively. Now you're ready to start and play the game. Water break. Okay. Space Between a Star uses cycles what every player will be the active player. The active player starts their turn by establishing or expanding a scene and sets a goal for what they want to accomplish. You may either start a new scene, establish, or continue from where the last active player left off, expand. Continue the narrative through descriptions or dialogue. Next, the active player chooses to either start a thread or push forward. Starting a thread means you're taking the story to a point where either establish a new character, group, location, event, or conflict. No dice are rolled when starting a thread. You are establishing a new element to the narrative for everyone to collaborate on. Read about the process of creating a thread below. When you push forward, you are pulling together your skills, resources, and other players to try and overcome the conflict. This is when dice are rolled and you build a player dice pool, and that is rolled against a difficulty pool. Read about pushing forward and dice outcomes later. The players who build the dice pool can add dice from any of their aspects, not just one, and are the only one to add hindrance dice. Other players can only add dice from one of their aspects. Note that the player's character does not have to be the one to build the player's dice pool. Decide who has more at stake or is the central character to the conflict, and they will be the one to build the player pool and bring the hindrances. In this case, the dice pool building checklist will be referred to as this player or as the active player. This player is the active player. Okay. I can read. Creating a thread. When creating a thread, you will first bring the narrative to a point where you want to define either a character, group, location, event, or conflict. You can bring up any of these elements without creating a thread, but the process of creating one is to collaborate on the new aspect of the narrative. Grab an index card and write on the top of each category you are creating. Then write out a name or a title that identifies your thread. Next, write down a short sentence bullet point of an aspect of this thread to allow everyone a better picture of what you want to establish. After that, you pass the index card to the player to the left, who may add another sentence-long aspect to the thread. It's encouraged to talk openly about your thoughts, but each player has final say in what aspect they write down. Once every player at the table has had their chance, read the full thread out loud and place it on the table so everyone can see it. Continue your scene until it has resolved its purpose. Oh, here's an example. Okay. Location. Solar Co. Refinery Station. A bustling activity refinery with expensive fancy machinery. Owned by a mysterious man in a white suit. Extracts solar energy with huge wings of solar panels. Character. Jerp the merchant. Dresses in all purple, never makes eye contact. Is a lobster man. Sells broken, rusty, ancient tech. Oh my god, I love Jerp. Creating conflict. Creating conflict follows the same steps as before. When the thread returns to the active player, they decide whether the conflict is immediate, threatening, or long-term. Each level represents how many times you must push forward that conflict to consider it over, and degrees of which they go through right or wrong. Immediate conflicts require only one rule. You either succeed or fail at the task, and the narrative continues accordingly. Threatening conflicts require 2 roles. There is room for something to go right and something to go wrong. The situation requires a few more steps. Long-term conflicts require 3 roles and have a greater degree of consequences. The situation requires planning or occurs over time. Here are examples of immediate, threatening, and long-term. The station airlock is jammed. There are pirates closing in behind us. They are opening fire, but it's not accurate. Air is running out. Immediate conflict. Oof. Win at a card game to get needed information. One opponent is heavily modified cyborg agent. Another is a Solar Co. refinery owner. The game changes rules every round. Oh, that's wild. A firefight has broken out in the bazaar. The streets are in panic. Surrounded by all sides, we're separated. The station police is trying to quarantine and make checkpoints. All right. Push forward. When you push forward for every success you roll, you accomplish your goals further, but for every failure, something bad happens. Determine how you are tackling the conflict and what a success entails. Attempting to bring the story up to the moment where the outcome is uncertain before building your dice pools and rolling. Then continue your turn by narrating how the situation has changed to meet the results. The process of making your dice pools is laid out on the dice pool building checklist. Once the dice are rolled, determine the outcome by first adding up all the dice in each of the respective pools. Whichever pool has a higher number of dice determines a success, if it's the player pool, or a failure, if it's a difficulty pool. Mark the conflict accordingly. Second, which pool has rolled the higher number? This skews the result if you were to ask, did I succeed? If it is the same pool that had the higher total, the result is yes and for success and no and for a failure. If the higher numbers on the other pool the highest total, the result is yes but for success, no but for a failure. On a tie, it goes for to the higher total pool. Okay, cool. I really like the yes ands and yes buts. I really like the idea of separation between don't stop yelling at me, Fitbit. I like how you have the separations of yes and this happened, yes but this happened. That's really cool. I do like that sort of just the language, just a little bit of a I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. Just there's something. It's there. Those are the main mechanics of space between the stars. Every turn, move the story forward. So either you're introducing a new element to the story, creating a conflict, or trying to push through the hurdles in order to complete your job and make some money to keep flying. What's next is to pick out the job you'll be trying to complete, which creates a session framework that gives the group a goal in terms of where to take the story and the general endpoint. Cycles of downtime and optional rule. Sometimes you can do it, but it isn't necessary for the quick start game. Is downtime. This is often mentioned in the ship sheet, and it's how you get rid of the grief and progress and grow your aspects. At any point where there is lull in the story or a significant amount of time between conflicts, traveling from one place to another, waiting for a contact, etc., the group may initiate a cycle of downtime. Doing so uses one fuel in your ship. You then choose which accommodation your character will spend that cycle at, completing the effects of that type, and answering out loud the question proposed by the type. This is a good way to further flesh out your character and the relationships between them and the crew, treating the ship as their home and what they do in their time off. The job now. Space Between the Stars is about existing in the universe you built and growing your characters and their relationships. This includes outfitting your ship for purpose and comfort and keeping you flying. This requires you to make money. The jobs are equivalent of quests in other settings and games, and it gives the table a goal for the session and the crew credits. Jobs are a way to structure your session. At the beginning of your session, your group decides what kind of job they want to do and pick one according to make up their own. A job has a job rating of starts at 5 and increases by 1 for every complication added. Their rating is the amount of dice rolls total is needed to determine the job complete. As you complete conflicts, you record the result for each roll on the job card as well as on the conflict. By the end of the job card, if you have the majority success, you have earned for pay, which is equal to... That's an edit right there, right? Job ratings minus a number of players. If you have a majority failure, then the client is unhappy, you've messed things up, you're in the worst position than you started, etc. And you decided as a group if you get half pay or no pay at all. Examples of a job card delivery, contract by a cult that needs rare materials. Delivered from a research laboratory to a gang den in an asteroid colony. Complications. Package must be stolen. Must convince someone in the research station. Will have a rival gang after the same materials. Notes. Materials is a rare bioenhancer. If distilled down, can grant superpowers. Is a rating of 8, and it looks like there's 2 positives and a negative, so that gives it a twist. This method keeps the action moving forward, keeps the conflicts in line with the story, and allows everyone to gauge where they are in the story. It also gives the session a general framework, which consists of 3 stages. Session framework. Start your session by generating a job to create and creating your job card. Next, you will mark on the job card that after 3 rolls have been recorded, the active player will generate a twist. This round of the game will be moving the story towards creating a beginning conflict. This should be either the first or second thread created and is conflict that tackles how you are doing about this job. It's easier to start with a session with a goal, whether than immediate, threatening, or long-term. Eventually, the twist is generated once the 3rd roll is finished. This is done by the active player drawing a card secretly and comparing it to the twist table. Ooh! Write out the twist and any ideas you have on the next card and hold it onto it in secret. At any point during the game, during anyone's turn, you can play down the twist card to shake it up. Is this where you get the table card, the TCG idea as well? Like, aha! Reverse Uno or something. That's delightful. Once played, treat it as a thread and let everyone add an aspect to it. Finally, after a job card has recorded all its necessary roles, determine whether the group has more success or failures on the job. If there are more successes, you are given a free cycle of downtime. Use it to play out an epilogue of the session for the characters and players who reflect on how they changed. If there are more failures, create the ending conflict, a final hurdle for the crew must face as a result of their performance. This can be a type of conflict. Feel free to get creative with what it entails. Maybe you have to run away from your contact, or your ship is in danger, or even a fight breaks out between crew members based on the actions they take during the job. Generate a job. For this quick playbook, only the delivery job and its additional tables are provided to keep in line of the courier ship. Following the delivery job generation table, complications table, and twist table. On the job table, write down the jobs generated by drawing a card and filling in the categories of the framework on top of the table. Framework, take turns drawing from each new category. Further define the different categories that are drawn. Afterwards, each player may draw draw a complication, increasing its rating by 1, and also increasing your net pay at the end. Discuss how each complication fits into the narrative to make it difficult. You may choose to add a complication without increasing the rating. Delivery job generator. Let's see here. Odd hearts, an old friend of captain, which is a group. A package type is refined oil. A location at basic spaceport. Basically, it's just giving you some chart ideas like even diamonds, up and coming crime game, unmarked weapons, gang in asteroid territory. And then here's the complications for your job. Ooh, let's see here. Like, contact requires coming along for the job. Oh my god, your contact's required to come along with you? Ooh, oof. Package somehow resists being delivered. How does your package resist being delivered? Oh, and here's the list for twists. Let's see here. The crew will be framed for stealing the contents of the package. Oh. The location of the site of dangerous cult ritual. Oof. That sounds fun. All these twists sound delightful. And you're all now set to play your first session of the Space Between Stars. Keep the conversation going, be open with each other about ideas, and have fun. Push your characters to their limits, make the game your own, and feel free to go against the norm. Some of the most interesting characters I've seen that take things like hacking, turn them into unique skills based on the world, like biomanipulation or social espionage. Usually there's no right or wrong answer. That is always what's best for you, the group, and the story. Following are the links to download all the sheets that are needed to be printed and examples of the sheets and threads. Alright, look at that. Look at that. Look, you're so sci-fi you add a QR code. Viditya. It looks so... I love that. Thank you to supporting me. The Art of Arts Department of MICA, especially Sam Sheffield and Jason Koros, Wes Kahala, my wonderful designer, and all my playtesters. Alright, and that's the back. And that's it. This sounds really fun. Especially all the tables. I love a good randomization table. Like, I live for those things. So, yeah, that's Space Between the Stars by Viditya Voleti. Please check him out and his work. Just pulling something up real quick. Okay. Boop. But, yeah, and there's so much more that he's done. I think I talked about the TCG game that's on there before. And just so many amazing things. Oh, we got more, but we're getting close to time, and I am getting exhausted, so I will start doing outros here. I'm Mo, they, she pronouns. You can find me in all my socials at Serena Bezos. Do I have a tag? I don't know. Hold on, let's see here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I do. Yeah, you can find me, and you can find my podcast by the players, at the link posted below at PBT Players. It's an actual play podcast for Powered by Apocalypse one-shots and mini-campaigns that we are currently recording, but we'll be releasing soon with the Geek Perspective Network. You can find me on Huetopia, all the time. I am here. I'm ever present. I'm always supportive, and I love doing what I do here. Yeah, but I do a bunch of other stuff too. I write. I do sensitivity consulting for microgames. I hype games up like this in general. But yeah. And I do want to talk about our charity that is currently going on right now. Let me just pull that up real quick. Black and Pink National is a prison abolitionist organization dedicated to abolishing the criminal punishment system and liberating LGBTQIA2+ people and the people living with HIV/AIDS who are affected by the system through advocacy, support, and organizing. Once again, you're more than welcome to donate. We are running this through the whole month of June to support Black and Pink National. So if you can, no limit is too small. Just toss us a couple bucks. Leave the change there. Do not change the percentage of the change, but please toss us for well-rounded numbers so we can have that 69 nice. While I have y'all here, we actually have the information about the Huetopia Archon Tidebreaker game that's going to be happening. Let me just pull it up real quick. Oh no, something went wrong. Why is it not pulling up? How dare you? Let me read this. Son of a... What is it doing? Hold on. I'm going to get this. There we go. I got it. Tomorrow we kick off Nick's Follow My Blade Kickstarter, the first episode of Neon Harvest, a limited run story arc utilizing both Kiana S. Archon and Tidebreaker. Come check out the anti-orientalist cyberpunk look like paired with a cinematic system. Oh yes, hi Angela, I am talking about you. So it's going to be with Bashir, Amani, Norden Ali, Angela, Rue, Kimmy, and Amr. Yes, so many good people. There's all the handles, promo production by Jess, our wonderful production manager that we have behind the scenes. 12 p.m. Eastern is early compared to our usual times, but we're just excited that we want to start the hype train with tomorrow's Kickstarter launch. We will re-air the premiere tomorrow evening as well at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific for the after-work crowd. So if you can't check it then, we will release it. So try to catch us when we release it. If not, we'll always have the evening crowd happening too. So look at these beautiful people. I love each of these humans, and this game looks so good. That's a lot of people, but I'm excited about it. I'm very excited to see all this happening. Is your lifestyle approved? What? What is this quote? We got to figure out what this quote is, y'all. Yeah, this is it. That's all I got to have. We're also going to have more games coming up for our Pride Brunchathon as well this upcoming weekend. I'm pulling up that information real quick. Just give me 1 second. Stop doing things on me. Pride. Here we go. I had to find me information about Pride stuff. So let's see here. So on Saturday, we are going to have Memoria, which is a lyric game based on finding who you are while dealing with the issues that have time loop given you. You start with a nearly blank template and use a combination of cards, dice, and role-playing to create and story these prompts. It's going to be random and dusty, and information about the players will come later down this week. And then on Sunday, there we have The Hierophant's Gone Away for a While. That's ran by Rue at Ilana Night 13. The Hierophant's Gone Away for a While. It's a fever dream by Quinn B. Rodriguez. Your supernaturals of varying paradigms tethered to an apartment complex. During the day, you live in the mundane human world. In sleeping, you travel to Zephyr, a world that is what you make of it. A world ruled by the Hierophant, who has left you to your own devices to tell your story. So be on the lookout. Check us out on Huetopia TV on Twitter. And yeah, I'm so excited about all these games that are happening. Of course, you can find me on Kahania playing every other Sunday. The Sunday is usually before these Game Ethically Lance shenanigans. And Donuts and Duels will be coming back soon. We're just, we're still recording. We're still getting things prepped and ready. We just making sure that we're giving you an amazing quality product for that. On that note, I'm done talking. So I hope everybody has a good night. Please take care of yourself, take care of each other, drink some dang water, and I'll see you on the next one. I should wave. Bye, everybody.